Now you can begin this practice in any way that feels good for you. So if you want to sit cross-legged, sit up on a cushion, you can even sit in a chair or you can stand. What I'd like you to just begin by doing is roll across your base. So whether you're sitting or on your feet, just rock from right to left. Feeling your foundation, your connection to the ground. Maybe rock back and forth. And then come to sit or stand. Lengthen up through the spine. This is the most important part, having a nice long spine, lifting the heart, rolling the shoulders back and down. Shut your eyes. And for today, let's bring our hands to interlace at the heart. Interlace your fingers, lay them across your heart. Let your elbows hang heavy. And breathe easy here. Just taking a few moments, the beginning of the practice. You can feel your heart beating beneath your hands. You can feel your breath moving beneath your hands. All reminders that we are here, we're present this morning with ourselves. We're here, we're present. We are blessed with life and health. One more big inhale. Exhale to drop the hands down next to the hips or onto the knees. Inhale, fingertips up. And as you exhale, let's twist to the right. Right hand comes down behind the hips. Left hand can take the right knee, or maybe you're reaching for the right hip. If you're standing, roll the right shoulder back and keep the hips pointed forwards towards the front of the mat. Inhale to come up. And as you exhale, twist to the other side. So really to get a true twist, we keep the hips stable, turn at the shoulders. Rolling the left shoulder back, lengthening through the spine. Inhale to bring the fingertips up. Now as we exhale, bring the fingertips down to the mat and make your way to a tabletop pose. Wrists are underneath the shoulders here. Knees are underneath the hips. A couple of cat-cows to start our practice. Tipping the tailbone up, dropping the belly. Bring the heart forward, crown of the head is high. As we exhale, turn the tailbone down, really press up through the low back, and then bring this rounding up through the spine, broadening the shoulders, the shoulder blades, tuck the chin. Inhale to stretch the front of the body. Exhale, curl things down. Squeeze it all in. As we inhale, let's extend the right heel back to the back of the mat, or the right, and curl the toes under. Rock into that foot a couple of times. I don't know about you guys, but waking up my feet in the morning goes a long way towards waking me up in the morning. Next inhale, let the right heel float. Now take a look down your body. See what's happening with your toes. You want to have your toes pointed straight down at the floor. This is going to be a pretty good indicator that your hips are even. If your toes are pointed off to the right, your right hip is probably lifted. And if they're pointed off in towards the center, like off to the left, your hip's probably dropped. Let's try and keep those hips nice and center. Walking the left hand forward. Breathe easy here. If you can stay here just like this with the fingertips on the mat, or you can bring the left hand up to extend shoulder height. Right heel is hip height. Left fingertips are shoulder height. Take a big breath in here. Find length. Feel like you're extending out from your navel in both directions. And then as you exhale, find that angry cat. Round the spine and draw the left knee and right knee and left elbow together. Inhale, extend. Exhale, let's try that again. Squeeze it in. Inhale, find the reach, push back with your right heel, reach with the left fingertips. One more time, evening out our weight over our remaining pillars. Extend and exhale, left hand down, right foot sweeps over towards the left. Curl the toes under and just take a look over your left shoulder for the right toes. See if you see them. Inhale to extend and exhale. The right knee comes down to the mat. Can take a moment here, readjust your hands and knees, extend the left heel back, rock into it. Oh yeah, waking up my feet. And then when you are ready, the left heel extends behind you. Tuck the low belly in, pull the low ribs in. Use your core to support your spine in this position. Take a moment, see what's happening with your toes. Make sure that they are pointed straight back or straight down towards the floor. Your hips are even. You can walk the right hand forward. Fingertips on the mat. If you like, you can extend the right hand straight out in front of you. Biceps next to the ear, and find that extension. As you exhale, round the spine, knee to elbow. Inhale to extend. Exhale, squeeze it all in. Inhale to reach. Exhale, squeeze. One more time. Right hand comes down. Left foot sweeps over to the right. Curl the toes under. It's going to be off the mat, and look over your right shoulder for the left toes. Just getting a nice side stretch. Little bend in the spine, squeezing the right side waist, stretching the left side. Extend that heel and draw your left knee down next to your right. Curl the toes under, both toes this time. Keep your hips still and walk your hands forward. I want you to feel like you're coming to a downward facing dog, but you're on your knees. So the hips stay over the knees, and you're just going to start to sink your heart down towards the mat. Maybe your heart comes to the mat, your chin or your forehead. Big breath in here. This pose is called melting heart. Nice way to open up the front of the body. To come out of it, just walk the hands back in underneath the shoulders. Toes are curled under. Lift the knees just 2 inches up off the mat. Big breath in here. As you exhale, let the knees come wide as you slide your hips back over the heels, stretching through the front of the body. Inhale, back to your floating tabletop. Nice neutral spine, gazing down between the thumbs. Exhale back. Hips, knees wide, hips over the heels. One more time, both ways. Floating table. And then exhale back. I always feel like a little froggy. Coming back to your floating table. This time as you exhale, lift the hips up and back. Downward facing dog. Big breath in here. When you're ready, on your next inhale, let your right heel float to the ceiling. As you exhale, bend the knee, open the hips. Stack your right hip over the left. Inhale to find extension. And as you exhale, draw the right foot forward between your hands. Can stay on your left toes or you can drop to your left knee. Inhale the fingertips forward and up. Exhale, sink the hips, sink the shoulders. Inhale, find length in the spine. And this time as you exhale, bring that left knee to hover. Turn the tailbone down, find length in the low back. Engage the core. And maintain this strength as you push the left heel away. Big breath in, hands come to the heart center. And as you exhale, let's take a prayer twist to the right, left elbow to the right knee. Right elbow is high, lengthening through the spine, rolling the right shoulder back. Try not to let the left hip drop here. Inhale, come back to center. As you exhale, sink the hips and draw your palms together over your head. Elbows are straight, biceps next to the ears. And then inhale to hinge forward at the hips, making yourself into like an arrow. Exhale here. On your next inhale, I want you to launch your foot into your weight into your right foot and come up to stand with the left knee high. Right hand comes to the outside of the left knee. Left hand reaches back. Inhale, back up to center. Exhale, left foot steps down, hands to heart center. Inhale, fingertips down, around, and up. You can look up if that feels good for you. Exhale, forward fold. Take a moment here, sway, hold opposite elbows. Find a halfway lift. Fingertips are on the shins. Knees are straight, but they're not locked. Roll the shoulders back and take any rounding out of the spine. Just want to realign the spine here. Pull the navel in. Soften the knees. Plant the hands. And bring your feet to the back of the mat for a high plank pose. Big breath in here. As you exhale, lower all the way to the mat. Inhaling, lift. Cobra pose. Exhale, lower. Inhale to plank or table. And exhale back, downward facing dog. Inhaling, the left heel floats. As you exhale, bend the knee, open the hip. So lifting the left hip over the right. Inhale to extend. Exhale, the left foot comes forward between the hands. Inhale, fingertips come up and back. Right knee can be on the ground or lifted. Exhale, sink the hips, sink the shoulders. Inhale, find the length. Find your gaze in the distance. Exhale, bring that right knee to hover. Turn the tailbone down, find the length in your low back, the strength in your belly, and then push the right heel away. Hands to heart center. And exhale, twisting to the left. Right elbow to the left knee. Extend the spine. Extend the crown of your head. You could bring your chin towards your left shoulder. And every exhale, twist just a little bit deeper. Keep that right hip up. If you're on your right knee, keep your toes curled under. That's going to help you keep your hips level. Inhale, unwind from the twist. Bring your hands together overhead, drop the shoulders. Exhaling here. Inhale to your arrow lunge, reaching the fingertips forward. Exhale here. Next inhale, we're going to bring our weight into the left foot and step the right foot forward to the front of the mat. Left hand comes to the outside of the right knee. Right hand reaches back. Nice, easy twist. Inhale, fingertips up. As you exhale, hands to heart center, step the right foot down next to the left. Inhale, fingertips high. As you exhale, forward fold all the way down. Inhale, find your halfway lift. As you exhale, soften the knees, bring the fingertips to the mat, and bring your right shin, then your left shin down to the mat. Cross your ankles, roll over onto your feet. We're going to make our way all the way onto our backs. So you can, actually before we do that, let's have the soles of the feet on the mat. Lengthen up through the spine. Your feet are about hip width apart, and wrap your fingers around your knees. Roll the shoulders back. You're really long here. And then as you inhale, arch the spine, bring the heart forward. You can maybe bring your gaze up a little bit. And then as you exhale, round the spine, pushing the lower back towards the floor, rounding the spine. You're really leaning back and you're holding onto your knees, and that's the only thing that's keeping you from really falling all the way back down onto the mat. Push the navel back behind you, rounding through the shoulders, tuck the chin. Inhale to come up, bring the heart forward and up. Exhale, round it down, back and down. One more time, inhale to come up. And then as you exhale this time, roll back, round the spine, really tease the mat with the low back. And this time, let go with your fingertips and slowly lower down, all the way down onto the mat. Tuck your shoulder blades in underneath you and walk your heels in so that they are close to your sits bones. If you have a block nearby here, it's nice to tuck it between your shoulders, not essential though, or between your knees. I'm sorry, not between your shoulders. Tuck it between your knees. If you don't have one, it's not essential, but think about your knees, your hip bones. You can even put your fingers on your hip points and your knees being in line with one another. So that, and we're going to take a bridge pose, and the knees like to splay out to the side when we take a bridge pose. Just try and keep thinking about drawing them in towards the midline. They don't have to touch, but we want them to be that hip width, that hip bone width apart. So hands can rest next to your hips. Curl your shoulder blades under, lengthen the spine. So push the tailbone down towards the heels. And then on your next inhale, let's lift the hips. Walk the shoulder blades in a little bit more. Maybe you can bind your hands together underneath your body, or maybe you can take your heels. We're going to breathe easy here in this pose, pushing the hips up as high as they will go, lifting up even through the chest, pressing the backs of your arms into the mat, maybe the pinky finger side of your hands, really pressing down to lift up. As you exhale, lower the spine, roll it back down onto the floor. Can move your knees like windshield wipers, but I don't want to bring them into your chest yet. We're going to come up one more time. So again, place your heels close to your sits bones. Lengthen the spine, so you're going to press the low back into the mat, reducing that natural curve of the spine. You can automatically feel the core strengthen. And then as you inhale, lift the hips. Keep the knees hip width apart here. Now imagine you're still holding that block between your knees if you're not actually holding a block between your knees. I'd like you to bring your weight into your left foot and just reach your right foot forward. So the knees are still next to one another. It's not a straight up to the ceiling, but off at an angle. Don't let the hips sink. Press into the backs of your arms. Lift the hips, lift the heart. Right knee comes down. Realign your feet, lift the hips. Maintain that strength in the core, keeping your knees in line with one another. Reach the left heel forward. Try not to let the hips sink. Left foot comes down, and you can lower your spine all the way down onto the mat. Bring the knees into the chest. Give yourself a hug now. Should feel good on the low back. Maybe you want to make some circles on the ceiling with your knees. Go in one direction and then in the other. And then hug your knees in tight. Bring your nose up between your knees. Squish yourself in really tight. Even squish up your face. Make a funny face. And then let's open up into Savasana. Just take a few moments here. Feel the breath moving through your body. The energy and the light moving through your body. That energy and light is what we call prana. And I think the morning is a beautiful time to practice because prana seems to be rich and available at this time in the morning. And so suck it all up. Bring it into your body with your breath. Enjoy the stillness of Savasana. As always, I'd like to encourage you to stay in Savasana for as long as you have time for. If, however, you are ready to begin moving again, begin with your fingers and your toes. Turn your wrists and your ankles. Your head from side to side. Reach the arms up overhead as you extend the heels back behind you. Draw your knees into your chest. Give yourself a hug. And then rock from one side to the other. Take a couple of breaths. And then when you're ready, let's make our way up to a seated position. Take your time. Find yourself seated comfortably. Lengthen up through the spine. Roll the shoulders back and down. Bring the crown of your head high. When you're ready, you can inhale the fingertips up to the ceiling. As you exhale, draw the thumbs to the third eye and hinge forward. For our final pose. Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you all for coming today. I hope you have a great day.
Thank you, Carole.